And finally up today is Munel. Rudran, an ex-Tamil militant, returns home released from prison, looking for his lover, Vani, who has disappeared during the war. Rudran's mother, Salama, who is gifted with a boon of soothsaying, tells villagers whether their kith and kin are alive or dead after the war, but she refuses to say the same about Vani. Visakesa, welcome. The first question I have about this film is, I guess, relates to its production, and I understand that it was a very difficult film to make in Sri Lanka during a very kind of tumultuous political time. Could you talk a bit about the actual production of the film and the problems you had in actually bringing this film to life?
Yeah, to start with, actually, it's a film made with a lot of local people from Jaffna Peninsula. So in the south, where majority of people speak Sinhala, there is already a film industry. And people who are trained to do what they're doing. In the north, not so, and it's a very small population. So, and then also the military occupies the north. This is after the Civil War. You probably have heard of the Tamil Tigers, and they fought a war for 30 years and they lost the war. And after that, still military is occupying the area and under high surveillance. So you can't really do without their knowledge. And then this film is about the Tamil Tigers, so that means it's become super sensitive. And on top of that, we had some filming to do with military uniforms and weapon replicas. That is so difficult. In fact, the military gave us permission, demanding that certain scenes should be removed. We haven't. And we won't. And then on top of that, there is an occupied movement in the south. You might have seen on news that this is the time that a lot of young people and older people congregated in certain parts of the southern cities and demanded that the incompetent president should leave. And we haven't seen in that country anything like that before. And so yeah, and basically we move back and forth in this occupied territory area in order to make sure that we have enough people there. Mm-hmm. Meantime, I wanted to make a movie, and then the movie is in the north where there is no occupied movement. So it is difficult, and sometimes some of the friends that I wanted to work with, they are also in the occupied movement, so I can't get them out. So I managed to get one guy out, the art director. He reluctantly came, and then what happened was the price of all the goods, materials, food, fuel going up, and there were predictions that the diesel price is going to double. So and also there are no fuel. There are queues which are longer than 1 kilometers for fuel, and they don't move. And I'm not kidding, that was happening. Mm-hmm. So I said, if you want to do this movie, I want X number of diesel liters in my stock, which is prohibited anyway. You can't stock diesel.
So who were you saying that to?
To my production manager. Yeah. So we purchased a lot of diesel, and then we stocked some food, which we can, like rice and things like that, dry food. And we were about to start shooting, and about 2 days before, the occupied movement in the south was attacked by some thugs, and then there was a retaliation, and some of the politicians' houses were torched, and it was just like a war zone in the south. And the north was relatively calm. So you were kind of were in the in a situation, should I pull the plug out of this project, or are we going ahead? And we decided to go ahead. And so on the last day of our filming, we just ran out of fuel.
Wow. and what kind? From what you're saying here, it sounds like you there was the possibility of personal danger for yourself, and I'll just extend the mic.
Yeah.
Was that the case? Were you? Were you having to bow to any kind of pressures from military or?
Yes, up to certain degree, but at the same time, how can I say this? So I'm a lawyer and I'm a university lecturer in the law school. So there is, in these semi-feudal societies, it comes with, these sort of positions have some civil power. So they might harass an ordinary filmmaker, but because whatever the titles I have, whether I like it or not, they might be bits hands off. So I didn't have a lot of problems, just few issues, but no major problems. Yes, so there is danger in the past, there is danger in the present, there is danger in the future, when we are ready to just release a film. But that's part of political filmmaking, I guess.
I mean, considering it is ostensibly a war movie where you have a kind of conflict that is occurring and that has occurred, and it's remarkably tranquil, and I guess it's about self-reflection and people trying to sort of pick up the pieces of their lives, and I'd love to know how you develop the story of the film, particularly around the main character.
Yeah, look, the story must be about 10, even longer, about 10 years old.
Based on anyone real?
Yes, it originally started with this man who is, who is disabled, and he was not necessarily a former rebel, and it was about the mother and the son, and then it kind of gradually started building up. One of the turning point is I went to, so I was going back and forth to the north, and I went to see the area which was where the final battle took place, where a lot of people were massacred, and it is a very unfortunate black and very gloomy history, recent history in our political history, fabric. And so one of my colleagues said, "Oh, you are there in that particular town. You must go and meet this woman. You don't believe how correct her predictions are." I was intrigued. I don't believe a lot about this whole soothsaying stuff. And I went to see her, and she was a very modest woman, very friendly, friendlier than our character actually. And she welcomed us, and she said, "Today is not the day that I soothsay." So there are 2 days that she would do that. But she told something that really stuck in my mind. She told me, the goddess mother told us, all these 10 people in these 10 villages will be reduced to one village. And, we will be, there will be, fire coming from the sky, and, all sort of things. And then she said very, very interesting thing. She said, the goddess mother, I get goosebumps even when I think about this. Goddess mother will open a path along the sea, and she will show you the way to escape. And she basically said she will open a path, she will draw a line. What does it mean? Draw a line and open a path on the sea? Was
she talking to you specifically?
She was talking to me about what her goddess told her. And then she said, that's exactly what happened. We were kind of walking on a line in the lagoon, so it's not really sea, it's a lagoon. We were walking on a line just to escape to the military side. Escape to the military side is another thing. You are basically escaping to your enemy. Yeah. But what I wanted to say is that whole idea of line. So what she meant by line is that people have to walk on a line. So the very first bit of news footage that you see in the movie is that. So it is a memory that I can't get rid of from my mind, and that people have to walk on a line on the lagoon just to avoid being fired. So the military ordered them to walk on a line, so they were firing both sides of the line just to make sure, just to create some sort of a virtual path. So anyway, so whether it is goddess created or the military created, I don't know, but the thing is, she was so convinced that was the prediction that came true. So I included that into my screenplay, and there were a lot of things. So
Have you seen her since?
no, I haven't. I don't know whether she exists or not, but I should have gone and seen her. And then the thing is, the Tamil society, when the attack is imminent, when you don't know when you're going to be attacked, not by simple handguns, but by artillery and mortars, you just have to rely on somebody. Nobody is telling you you're going to be attacked tomorrow. So these people are relying on goddess and gods. And don't ask me whether I believe in them or whether it is true. But the thing is, sometimes, they are warned, well, get out of the place, and, they are attacking. So people pack up and go. So, and, this happens so many times. There are so many people who are just telling these things because that's the only way to be warned of, because the government has failed. So the goddess and the gods took over. And in our film, of course, the god also sometimes fails. But the other thing I wanted to mention about the film is that some of these dialogues that come up in the courts particularly, they were from my experience when I was working as a lawyer. So I was mostly defending the Tamil tiger prisoners. They are not necessarily Tamil tigers, but they were suspected and they were arrested, and most of them are innocent. So I think it's a combination of all those things, experiences.
I'm going to open it up to the floor to see if there is a question. Oh, hold on. Any questions?
Yeah.
Go on then.
Hi, can you speak more about filmmaking today in Sri Lanka after the economic and political turmoil of last year, and whether you still need to take such precautions like the ones that you went through with your film, filling up the tank and getting to, or has it stabilized to a much better level now?
Sorry, can I just repeat that so we can hear it? So it's talking about filming in Sri Lanka after the sort of political experiences there recently, and I guess the logistics. And I guess I would add, like, would this film get a release in Sri Lanka?
Look, things are seemingly stabilized, but I think we are just sitting on a volcano. And I think the currency value is going to drastically go down, and we will be in a huge mess soon again. And the current government is, they don't have any public mandate. They're holding on to power because they just don't know what they can do without power, because that's hugely corrupt. And then in terms of filmmaking, so we can't just, you can't just predict what's going to be like tomorrow, so you can't start anything. And the price of everything has gone up, and so virtually it is impossible for independent filmmakers like us to get into the cinema again. So I think, if I'm intending to make films in Sri Lanka, I just put it on hold for another 3-4 years. That's how bad situation is. But in terms of releasing films, it's just, I'm trying to understand this whole conundrum of people don't have money, people are so poor, some people are starving, but still some of our luxury film, cinemas are opened. And, Avatar, all these Bollywood blockbusters are running for months without any problem of having audiences. So it's the releasing part. It is working for some people. I really don't know how it will be, since it is a sleeping volcano. Things will be really bad soon. I don't know.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. Thanks to all the filmmakers today. We're going to wrap things up now. But if you follow, as I said at the top end, if you follow us online, please feel free to send questions through to press@iffr.com. Tomorrow's press conference will take place a bit earlier at 11 a.m. Central European Time, and the same venue at the heart of Rotterdam's hub, the Dolen. The lineup tomorrow will feature four filmmakers: Gustav Geer Bollesen, director of Manverki; Guido van der Werf, director of Nummer 18; Philip Sotnichenko, director of La Palasiada; and Teng Yuhan, director of Gagaland. Thanks again to all the filmmakers and their amazing answers to the questions, and yeah, thanks to the audience at home.